I'm Marle. This channel exists to connect gamers to MMOs they'll love. In this series, I play an old-school, non-instance group-based, refreshingly deep MMORPG called Arelith. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more MMO content. In the last episode, Marle wandered into the Ghostwood alone, being ambushed by shadows pouring from the undead rampant forest. Anytime you fight a new type of enemy in Arelith, the anticipation causes your heart to race because you don't have a sense yet of its armor class, attack bonus, or fighting mechanics. And since many mobs exist in groups, a situation can quickly escalate from calm to chaotic. In this case, due to Marle's feat expertise and spells Mage Armor, Shield, and Ghostly Visage, her armor class is nearly 30, which is decently high for her level with 10% concealment. I admittedly am not entirely sure how concealment affects melee exchanges, yet it's written in the console, so I presume it's relevant. Shadows have natural damage reduction and an on-hit effect. All the damage I'm able to do is only through my spells and imbue weapon ability, not through the kinetic damage die of my blade. Also, I'm debuffed by their negative energy after failing to resist, so I need to find a cure. In addition, since the zone, Ghostwood, and mob Shadows are new to Marle, she earned additional adventuring experience, which will be allocated every 5 minutes during a server tick. I also love the brawling animations of the Shadow, since their weapons are their hands and feet. Remember the zone because we'll be back later. I finally send the last shadow into the light and rummage through the corpses. They drop a lot of items. Recall these because they'll become important soon. Since I remember that my goal is to patrol many areas, and not only the Ghostwood, I return to the outpost just outside Scalyard. In typical fashion, another shadow must have followed me through the zones back here. Yes, mobs can zone with you, except under certain circumstances. Sorry, EverQuest veterans, a zone line likely won't save you here. Thankfully, the Timberwolf and guard quickly put down the threat, but we're not done here. I walk up a path to an unknown area, yet before I zone in, I notice a black bear in the distance. Instead of preparing for battle in my typical fashion, I merely cast a buff that I later learn lasts for only a few seconds, yet I toggle expertise and shoot with my bow. Unfortunately, despite having a 1 use indicator, the feat to summon my pseudo-dragon returns a no use remaining error in the console. After pulling, I tried to shoot 2 arrows before transitioning back to my sword. Had the bow remained equipped in melee, each attack would have granted an attack of opportunity to the bear. I use this mechanic for Marle's advantage in future episodes, so remember it now. Moreover, the monster's mouse hits hard and lands its hits often, requiring me to quickly apply healing kits. This is becoming an expensive fight since each healing kit costs around 50 gold pieces. Moreover, applying a healing kit takes an entire round, so I hope the trade-off will be worth it. Finally, I slay the carnivorous Ursus and continue my journey. Upon zoning in, I sense an eerie feeling, so I wish to retreat. However, I can't, because there is a time limit during which you cannot zone out after just zoning in. My impression is that this is to avoid meta-gaming engine mechanics in which someone could enter a zone, drop a powerful AoE, then zone out to avoid retaliation, and then wait to ambush those zoning in, yet veterans of Arelith can clarify this limitation's intent. After waiting a few more seconds, I make my retreat. I only had to patrol that area, after all, not conquer it. However, my patrol isn't over. After reviewing my writ, I realized there is a location beyond the Ghostwood I must patrol, so I will need to wade through more shadows and whatever unliving horrors are animated in the haunted thicket. Learning my lesson from the incident with the bear, I properly prepare for battle and wade into the horde fog. I still can't see anything, even with ultravision. I'll need to be careful. It seems too quiet here. See the highlighted items on the ground? Those are harvestable resources for crafting professions, and you need proper tools to extract them efficiently. I see a pack of shadows with an undead warrior.
I'll put you in
Trying to buy myself time and space, I pull with my bow as my familiar attempts to tank. As the battle commences, a samurai calmly walks behind me. He seems to be amused at the frenzy and continues to remain a curious onlooker. You can see that the experience earned from this kill is 1 instead of 11 earlier, so Keizuki must be an experienced adventurer. I extend a greeting and wait for his reply. Not wanting to drag out the social awkwardness, I invite him to join the fray.
I'll put you in your place.
You can tell he's exceptionally strong. Also, people frame the roleplay in different ways. He adds both parenthetical descriptions to his character's actions and uses proper quotation syntax when indicating Kazuke is speaking. Being so precise adds to his character's aura, which positively affects my interactions with him. Moreover, Arelith recently added new custom weapons to the server, including the one he's holding. Forgive me for not pronouncing it, since I believe its name is of Japanese origin, a language I do not pretend to know how to pronounce. So I presume this character is being built around the new available swords. After asking what he's doing in the Ghostwood, he lets me know he's seeking the Kurgan. Although I know of whom he's speaking, Marle doesn't, so I redeem my prior incidents in which utility overrode character accuracy, and thus I ask him what he means. As he replies, see the spell being looted? Remember it. Kazuke explains more or less that the Kurgan is a boss at the bottom of a nearby dungeon. It's at this time that a group of adventurers pass by us, likely coming from the spoken about crypt. I recommend he delve alone due to my inexperience, to which he agrees. Plus, I'm not here to fight anyway. I'm on patrol. You can hear combat music erupting as they engage in battle, walking presumably back to Scalyard. As we part ways, I try to learn the spell I looted earlier from a shadow. Spellcasters can learn new spells in a wide range of ways on Arelith, one of which being through scrolls either looted or crafted. However, as a spell sword, I can only learn arcane magic. Bane cannot be memorized since it falls outside of that category. However, we still will be able to make use of it later. I find an entrance to another location and prepare for whatever may be on the other side. After zoning in, my writ is updated, and I see a throng of zombies at the edge of an adjacent cliff. While it's doubtful if I could defeat them simultaneously in melee, I pick them off one by one with my bow. However, these animated corpses also have damage reduction, making some attacks deal no damage. At least they can't reach me. The village center is bustling with activity, and Book Boppin has set up a shop presumably selling scrolls. As I examine the merchant cart, she summons a monstrous brawler attempting to entice a buyer. It seems like the halfling is selling spells and is demonstrating them for onlookers. I think this is awesome and adds to the lawless energy present in Scalyard. I enter the bazaar to exchange spoils for coin.
I bid you good day.
Remember the spells we looted earlier? One of them is learnable. Eagle's Splendor. That adds up to 5 to your charisma score, which is a potential buff of 20%. I love that early game buffs are important and continue to remain useful throughout the endgame. I walk over to Philip with an F who buys jewelry. Remember the valuables we looted earlier? I have to manually sell each trinket now, yet in a future episode, we'll find out how to simplify this process using a crafted item. I walk over to a gem scale on which you can both measure and sell valuable stones. I believe they also double as reagents for spells or crafting recipes, so you'll need to decide whether to keep, sell, or trade them. After walking back outside, I pass two elves sitting near the fire to enter the smithy. Remember them. Inside is Dane, who sells a myriad of equipment and also purchases broken metal that can be occasionally looted from local enemies. Afterwards, I turn to leave, yet see an enhancement basin. These can modify attributes, skills, or saves of equipment in exchange for gold, although at a certain point there is a percentage chance for that item to break. Oddly, there is a pseudo-Asian inspired progression on Arelith, although there is no pay to win and the chances for success are always listed, so the gamble is entirely yours to make. Since there's undead on Scal, I add 1 die for divine damage to my blade. We'll see how damage types mechanically function later, yet this addition now nearly doubles her DPS. But I still need to finish my patrol. With that in mind, I walk back out to the fire and join some elven brethren sitting near the warm blaze. Mathian greets me kindly in Elven. There are a slew of languages to learn or teach in Arelith, which can be used both for roleplay and tactical advantage, especially if you're in an area with player characters unfamiliar with your tongue. We learned that we're all new to the Isle, which suggests we may be in an appropriate level range for grouping. As we plan an adventure together, another elf announces her interest in the developing yet fledgling band of explorers. Mathian extends a party invitation to rid the nearby Weald from its goblin population. It's dangerous and it's several zones away. It's no guarantee that we'll make it back in one piece. But the journey there will satisfy the mayor's writ, but at what cost? Marle has never been where she's going now, traveling with those of whom she has little knowledge. Our adventure begins. We walk to the entrance of the Weald and initiate our preparations. Will this party find success or crushing failure? Watch the next episode to find out. Thanks for watching.